5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10 times to investors. So $1 million house is worth $5 million, $10 million. You sell it over and over again. No one gets in trouble. And by the way, they've only increased the amount of fraudulent derivatives they're putting out. And guess who in 2008 on October 3rd, they got Congress under the threat of martial law. Look that up. Congress threatened with martial law over banker bailout. They signed into law there perpetually that debt is ours. So they're creating all this imaginary debt. I mean, let's say I'm the globalist. Can you guys give me a document cam shot, please? And I just want to make up all the money I want in the world. In the past, if you're watching me on TV, I'll write this on a piece of paper. In the past, they would take $1 and they could loan out $10. Okay? That's fractional reserve banking. The global average was that. And the banks, that would create capital and liquidity. And that could be abused. Now with derivatives, they can take one house and turn it into 10 houses. The equivalent of 10 houses. And take that money then and put that into more derivatives and keep it going until you've got leveraging to 1,000 to 1 in some cases. That's like having one drop of oil in a barrel of water and saying the whole barrel is oil. No, you put it in your car is going to seize up, it's going to ruin the engine. So that's why they've been able to take over, folks. That's why they buy, the police, everything. They run everything because they've got this fraud. To the point of, hey, I got an idea. Let's just take houses that are totally paid for that never had a mortgage. Hey, that sounds like a good plan. There's WorldNet Daily reporting on the congressman we had on. We actually had Brad Sherman on and broke that. Bailout push included threat of martial law. During deliberations over the $700 billion federal bailout, banks and financial institutions, by the way, that was the first payment. That was an open window. They threatened martial law in closed session. In fact, there's the video, fear-mongering exposed by Mr. Sherman. That's when he said it on the floor of the House. He also said it on this show. And by the way, when I was first reporting on that, had him on, people didn't, he was on my show first. People didn't believe that it was actually a congressman and he said that. Because see, martial law doesn't exist. Really, that's what we're going under. I have the article right here. It's up on drudgereport.com on the right-hand side, last time I checked, where Homeland Security exercise targets, quote, free speech against socialist tyranny under martial law. And the whole NLE national level exercise is not for the Russians attacking or Al-Qaeda or other groups. No. It is patriot libertarians fighting martial law. That's what the government's doing. Because the government is run by foreign banks. Period. Period. I can have congressmen on. I can have former congressmen on. I can have former top federal fraud investigators, top professors, Nobel Prize winners like Joseph Stiglitz for economics 2 times. I've had them all on, okay, and they all agree. Global mega banks above the law, diplomatic immunity, robbing everyone, setting up a police state so you can't ever get control of your government. I'll say this again. I'm not going to beat you over the head with it if you're a new listener, but not my opinion, not my opinion, not my opinion. And it's getting worse by the minute. And we need good judges, we need good courts, we need good police, but we need, more importantly, good people. Because if the people will stop being so lazy and so disconnected and so uninvolved, and will stop laying down to everything, a nation of sheep will be ruled by what? Wolves. If the people will start acting more independent and more aggressive and more liberty-loving and more defensive about their freedoms and their space, we will be known as what? Liberty-loving, free, aggressive, independent people again that everyone was scared of. There's a reason organized crime never expanded good until just the recent last decades in Bible Belt southern areas. And it wasn't because the people were wimps, ladies and gentlemen. It was because they would kill anyone that tried to abuse or dominate them. Hundreds of cases of people in the West and the South overthrowing bad police departments, sheriff's departments. In the old days, if the police shot some kid in the street in the back, the people would go burn down the police station. And then the state police would do nothing because they couldn't. Because if they tried anything, they'd get attacked. I'm not saying that's what we need now, but the point is that everyone acts like a bunch of immigrants from third world countries who... Third world countries are slaves, folks, as the people lay down to it. And because there's a culture of corruption. We are now becoming that. We are now a banana republic to every extent. And I want to reverse that before it's too late. Thank you for joining us. I have a special guest coming up, that lawyer involved in that case, repossessing Bank of America, as the people strike back. But here's a stack of news breaking. Venezuela arrests 3 generals for alleged coup plot. So that place is descending into a nightmare. And again, I don't like the West trying to overthrow the country, but the people are angry. The communists have set up fake elections, and they're even worse. I mean, there's a few countries worse than the regular cancer of Western government. But I mean, North Korea and Venezuela are 2 of them. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Pacific Commander, U.S. lacks ability to conduct successful amphibious assaults. That's in the Washington Times. That's just the Navy trying to get more funding. Continuing, open the floodgates. Indiana becomes first state to scrap Common Core. Fox News reports Indiana's become the first of 45 states to opt out of the national education standard known as Common Core. And critics of the controversial K-12 program say the move could open the floodgates for others to follow. Well, I mean, here's the debate. 2 + 2 = 5 is what it teaches officially. Do we keep it? No. Case closed. Thank you. Common Core says the kids belong to the state. Do we keep it? No. It teaches you that Heather has 2 mommies. Do we keep it? No. It teaches you just total mentally ill garbage. Urgent. NATO's Turkey providing air support for al-Qaeda in northern Syria. And the article from Land Destroyer is excellent and breaks down how they're pumping al-Qaeda terrorists in out of the Turkish border on record. And when the Syrians dare fight back against al-Qaeda, the Turks shell and send in jets to attack. So pretty amazing stuff on that front. Here's another article out of National Journal. This is what I've been asking. Who gets sued when your robot car crashes? Autonomous vehicles will save thousands of lives. See, that's already begun. They're safer than people. And listen, we got to start saying humans, this is a world for humans, by humans, of humans. And of humans, for humans, by humans. We are keeping humans around. We are not going to let the computers replace us with an anti-state. That's what this is all about, folks. And it's coming. It's here. Look at this MIT article, or article out of UPI. MIT engineers create manufactured materials, half inanimate, half alive. Engineers at MIT have created living materials, that sounds like zombie materials, combining the advantages of living cells with the functionality of non-living materials. I'm sure there's no way this will get out and cause a problem, even though top scientists say it'll probably end up ending life. I'd say that's probably a top story today for the Nightly News, something like that. That is a big deal. Ukraine's parliament has ousted the defense minister. They've dismissed acting defense minister over his handling of the crisis in Crimea following Russia's annexation of the Black Sea Peninsula. So that's just some of the news on the military front. Here's another one. Rumsfeld, a trained ape, could manage war better than Obama. Folks, Obama has been doing exactly what the neocons wanted and more, giving them left-wing cover. And that's all that is right there. Speaking of Russia, I know I already mentioned this, but this is a big deal right here. New York Times. Russia is ousted from Group of 8 by U.S. and allies. It was the G8 that voted, as you know, along with the Security Council and the UN, its counterpart, to not. It was the Chinese-Russian veto that stopped the Syria war, along with public support against it here. So now they'll just kick them out. So a new Cold War is starting. The United States, occupied by globalists, I should add, and its closest allies on Monday cast Russia out of the Group of 8 industrialized democracies, their most exclusive club, to punish President Vladimir V. Putin, as Bush calls him, for his lightning annexation of Crimea. Like blitzkrieg. Folks, the Russians